Hey guys, good evening and welcome to another USMNT live stream here on Stateside Footy. It is the October window as the U.S. men's national team play host to Ecuador in the first of a two-leg series this October window. Before we get into it, man, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons and make sure you hit that notification bell. All right. Before we actually get into it, I do have to make a quick announcement that I will be switching platforms to a little bit more of a user-friendly apparatus that's actually going to enhance these live streams, and it will actually look like a broadcast. So I'm going to try to get that done before Australia, certainly for the November window, and also some of the other live streams we do here on Stateside Footy. So that will be happening, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. All right, so U.S. versus Ecuador. And I got to be honest with you, man. Here's the thing. I know there is a little skepticism, but that being said, every single time the U.S. men's national team, I can't help but be a happy clapper. This is just the way it is, man. This is my team. It's my country. I absolutely love this team. But that being said, I'm not going to sit here and act like this isn't going to be an extremely hard test, an extremely hard challenge. That being said, on the surface, it looked like Mauricio Pochettino had his strongest team of his tenure. And of course, tonight we're without Christian Pulisic. We're going to be without Anthony Robinson, and we're going to be without Alex Dejas. And quite honestly, I'm not exactly thrilled with that, but it is what it is. But even so, I will say that this lineup does have a little pizzazz to it. But let's just go ahead and take a look at it, right? So obviously, Matt Freese is going to be in goal tonight. Tim Ream, Chris Richards is going to make 2/3 of the back three, and I got to be a little honest here. I'm a little disappointed that Miles Robinson gets placed into this starting 11. I have listen. I'll be the first to say this, that he has never been the same since the Achilles injury. Yet he continues to get called in. I really haven't necessarily been impressed with his play, but yet he's here. I thought this might be an opportunity for Mark McKenzie to get in. It seemed like this probably would be a good opportunity to do it, considering he plays on the left-hand side of a back three for Toulouse. But unfortunately, it's Miles Robinson. It is what it is. The midfield for Aiden Morris and Tanner Tessman will be holding down the, I guess you could say, the dual sixes. Timmy Way is going to be out on the right-hand side, and I absolutely love this. Yesterday, we were speculating what that would look like, and to be honest with you, this is probably going to be natural for him, considering he actually plays this position at Olympique Marseille. Not to mention that he's got the physicality in the pace to actually play this position, and I kind of like this. It kind of gives me, I'll just say this: I don't think it's going to be that hard for him to pop balls into the box off that right-hand side. Plus, he's got the pace to potentially crash the box from the right-hand side as an inside forward if they really want to do that. But I would probably assume he's going to stay wide. And then, of course, Max Arfston will be on the left-hand side. Not a surprise at all. Arfston genuinely kind of plays this for the Columbus Crew. More of a left winger, but at this stage, I think he's suitable playing a little bit higher up the pitch on the attacking side of the field. Underneath will be Malik Tillman on the left and Weston McKennie. And I know this surprised a little bit that West is probably going to be playing a little bit higher up on the pitch, but I actually think this will be fine. West is the type of player who's very good on the ball. He has his passing ability is absolutely fine. He can play weighted passes into the box. This is not going to be an issue. And he can score a goal too if you absolutely need it. And of course, Flo Balogun will be up top tonight as the primary 9. And let's do this real quick. And I want to do this real quick for you guys, right? Real quick. How quick? Right real quick. On the bench will be Brady, Turner, Schulte. I don't know why we have 4 keepers here, unless they're trying to find who their third keeper is. Alex Freeman is going to be on the bench. Cameron Carter-Vickers, obviously Mark McKenzie, Brendan Aronson, Christian Roldan, Diego Luna, James Sands. Pulisic is actually on the bench tonight. I don't necessarily know if he's going to get in, Haji Wright and Patrick Agyemang it will make up the U.S. bench. Now, for Ecuador, let me pull this up real quick. That is the Ecuadorian starting 11. In goalkeeper will be Galindez. The back four of Ordonez, Pacho, Franco, and Presido. The midfield four is Vite, Paz, Alcivar, and Ustupinen. Valencia will be playing underneath Yaboa in that attack. And of course, this team is really built on a foundation of defensive principles. This is a team that finished second in World Cup qualifying, only surrendered 5 goals through the entire qualifying process. I think they played 18 in World Cup qualifying. We're absolutely rock solid. Now, again, no Moises Caicedo, obviously the Chelsea 6. He will be out, and then Hincapie will be out as well too. And of course, Hincapie also plays for Arsenal there in the Premier League. So 2 very huge cogs in that defensive machine for Ecuador. And the question is whether or not those 2 are going to potentially give the U.S. men's national team any type of space, any pockets to which they can exploit in the attack. And it kind of makes me wonder a little bit as well too, but at least Mauricio Pochettino recognizes that this formation specifically, essentially playing a back 5, a little bit more of a counter-attacking team, a little bit more of a mid-blocking team is going to help this team quite a bit going forward. And I like the fact that he's not afraid to go back to it. When you looked at some of these injuries that we incurred, no Anthony Robinson, you were wondering whether or not they were going to shoot back to no Anthony Robinson, no Christian Pulisic. You were wondering if they were going to revert back to a back 4 with a double pivot. And I'm glad that he didn't do that. Right, that would be the easy thing to do. You essentially revert back to what you know, and I'm glad that he didn't do it. I actually think this, considering that most of these guys over in Europe play in similar style formations, essentially, similar attacks, similar defensive concepts. So for that, just in that right itself, it just makes everybody a little bit more comfortable. And I actually think that this is going to be a massive test, no doubt about it, right? Because a lot of these guys have been out of the national team picture for a while. And now all of a sudden they come back. Coming out of training the last few days, we have heard good things about the intensity. So that's good. It seems like everybody is on the same page. So that would lead me to believe that we are in store for something. I said last night that I think that the U.S. is good enough. They will be good enough to get a result tonight. But let me know what you guys think. Let me drop something in the chat real quick. Let me know exactly how you think this match plays out. Who do you think scores the goals? And do you guys believe that the U.S. can get a result tonight? Or do you think that, potentially they're going to revert back to the form that we saw, in March, in September, potentially last fall as well, too. So let me know. All right. So we are getting close to kickoff. We are about a good 5 minutes away. A quick reminder to make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. Also, make sure you turn on your notifications. The interesting thing is, I got to say that I'm actually quite happy with this double pivot right here. One of the things that I like about it is there's going to be a stay-at-home 6, right? And I would assume that potentially might be Aiden Morris, which would free Tanner Tessman up just to kind of put out fires. Almost play that Tyler Adams role as we saw against Japan, using his pace, using his, I guess you can say IQ, but also Tanner Tessman also can push up a little bit if they need that as well too. So there's always going to be somebody there, essentially guarding his back right there. So I kind of like this idea. It actually worked well. Not only did it work well against Japan, we weren't easy to break. We essentially weren't easy to play through the middle, as we were against South Korea, but also our link-up play worked a lot better as well too, and we were actually fluid moving forward. Right, we weren't necessarily trying to force a square peg into a round hole. in previous iterations of Windows prior, right? So unless we were playing some shitty CONCACAF squad against teams that are actually better than us, they actually had the blueprint on how to beat us, and it was literally just like essentially taking penalties, right? So I'm glad that Mauricio Pochettino decided to stick with what works. I like the idea of Tanner Tessman. This is absolutely a fantastic opportunity for him coming back into the national team. The evolution of, I say this every single week on Yanks Abroad, right? It has been brilliant watching this kid evolve week to week. He's starting to develop into one of our better sixes. And the interesting thing is whether or not he's going to be able to pick up the challenge today. Because if he does, then all of a sudden we have to ask a new question of whether or not Tanner Tessman potentially deserves to be in the starting 11 come World Cup time. It wouldn't surprise me if a guy like Tanner Tessman took advantage of the opportunity today. The other two guys that I'm looking at are the two who are going to be playing right in front of him. Malik Tillman, whose work rate is unbelievable with Leverkusen. Hasn't necessarily really kind of blown up the score sheet, so to speak, but his work rate is unbelievable. Dude has no problem tracking back and picking up his defensive responsibilities. But the name of the game is putting the ball in the back of the net, right? So as much as this is an opportunity for Tessman, equally for Malik Tillman as well, too, because the thought is if Christian Pulisic is going to occupy the left-hand side underneath, and Tillman will probably be playing off the right. And so from that standpoint, right, this is going to have to be a huge match for him, right? There's going to be absolutely no excuses. If he is not a linchpin, if he is, I guess you can say, the engine of the attack, it's going to be quite disconcerting. Same thing for Weston McKennie, right? Because I have no idea what Weston McKennie we're going to get tonight. I swear to God, I have no idea. The last time we saw Wes in a U.S. shirt was Nations League, and it looked like he wanted to be everywhere else but right there on the pitch against Panama. It didn't look good for Wes, and I would probably assume I would probably assume that a lot played into the reason, that first impression, I guess that big main first impression in an actual tournament probably rubbed Pochettino the wrong way. And so now Wes has another opportunity. Yes, he hasn't necessarily gotten the starting minutes that he would like with Juventus, but lately over the course of the last couple of weeks, he has. And so this is a massive opportunity. He's in a position where he's actually not bad camping in channels and being a little goal dangerous, right? We saw that at Juventus when he has played high on the occasion. The guy just seems to, his timing, the timing of his runs seem to be good, and he can be goal dangerous, right? So those two specifically are going to have massive games for the U.S. men's national team if they are to get a result. So it looks like the players are going to be coming out of the pitch right now. Looks like we have our FIFA referee crew. She's kind of cute. And there's the Ecuadorian national team and the U.S. It's interesting, man. I can't believe Miles Robinson is in this match tonight. I didn't see that one coming. Actually, maybe I should have seen that one coming, to be honest with you. No matter what, Mark McKenzie just can't seem to catch a break with the U.S. He gets called in, but he can never seem to get on the pitch, right? It's kind of odd considering that McKenzie himself has actually been playing pretty good in an otherwise meh season for Toulouse. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly when he's actually going to get his opportunity. By the way, Cameron Carter-Vickers, it's going to be interesting to see if Cameron Carter-Vickers comes on before McKenzie. That's going to be the interesting one. I think everything is interesting, so you can just kind of, scratch out the word interesting. I say it all the time. Brendan Aronson, Christian Roldan, Diego Luna, Haji Wright, Patrick Aubameyang. It's going to be interesting to see exactly who his first subs are going to be. I would probably assume we're going to see it right around at the hour mark, 65-minute mark. that seems to be the time frame in which Poach likes to rotate a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see, because if the U.S. are chasing a goal, I would probably assume we're going to see Patrick Agyemang. That just seems to follow trends a little bit. We have Crest 11 Football. What's going on, man? I hope you're doing well. He says a 1-1 draw prediction. See you at halftime. Enjoy. Yes, sir. By the way, Crest 11, let me know who your goal scorer is tonight. It's the weird one, right? Because Christian is available tonight. And so naturally the inclination is that he would probably come in at some point. And you wonder whether or not AC Milan has actually put the brakes on this, or if there is a legitimate injury concern, although we haven't seen it with Milan coming into this camp, right? So you wonder whether or not there is, you wonder whether or not, AC Milan kind of put the brakes on this, which would be kind of shambolic if you think about it. But that being said, right, there is an intricate dance between national teams, big clubs in European countries, in national teams, because obviously the asset actually is the player, right? So they're going to try to avoid injury as much as problem. And of course, exactly how important Christian is for Milan, as they're probably chasing a Scudetto this year. That's, that team is unbelievably good. So we are getting through the Star Spangled Banner right now, and we are very close to kick. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. Nothing would kickstart momentum than a solid result tonight. And that's what I want to see. I want to see this team's ability to fight through adversity to get a result, because I would probably assume at some point we're going to see Ecuador flex a little muscle, and there's going to be stretches in this match where the U.S. won't have possession. And I want to see exactly how this team fights through adversity, man. We just haven't seen it. I also would like to see this team, control large portions of this match, whether it's possession or whether they have the ability to pin Ecuador back. That's something we also haven't seen since the 2022 World Cup. Maybe something under BJ when he was interim. So it's been a long time since the U.S. has actually shown the actual capability of what they're able to do against a team that's not some CONCACAF minnow. So it looks like the Star Spangled Banner is over. The players are essentially shaking hands with their opponents. It looks like there's a nice crowd tonight too, down there in Austin. Of course, it's probably going to be a pro-Ecuadorian crowd. Tim Ream obviously is the captain tonight. Interesting. It's going to be interesting, man. Yeah, man. I don't know how to explain it, man. I don't know how. I can't explain the emotion right now. What's going through my body right now? Obviously, I'm fired up. There's no doubt about that. But that being said, man, it's a team that hasn't been in form in well over a year and a half. And so a part of me is a little apprehensive, but that being said, we're getting pretty close. Let me tell you about Kendry's Pies. He is going to be the Ecuadorian 10, and this kid is legit. Oh. Yeah, this kid is legit, man. That dude so far has shown the ability to be world class with both feet. He's got the pace, he's got the skill, he's got the flair. And if there's one player in the Ecuadorian attack that kind of makes me shit my pants a little bit, it's Kendry's Paz. That kid is awesome. Also, this young kid, Prasadio, Presido. He's actually kind of good too. He's going to be playing on the right side alongside Valencia and Yaboa. Listen, man. Now, granted, I will say that Ecuador, as far as goals scored, wasn't the most impressive in World Cup qualifying, but they were able to score enough to get where they were. Really, the foundation and the identity is set on defense. So we're almost underway here. We are almost underway at Q2 in fabulous downtown Austin. Looks like it's 85 degrees there tonight. That's awesome. And there's Wes as we are almost ready here for kickoff. And it looks like the U.S. is going to be playing from, I'm going to say from right to left. And Ecuador will be playing to the home stand. Essentially the wall where the American Outlaws will be doing their thing. So the U.S. will hold possession first, and we are underway from Q2 in Austin, Texas, as Chris Richards will play this long up the right-hand side. And it comes down to Ecuador. And now they're moving down the right-hand side, trying to cut through. That's a good tackle right there. And it looked like that might have been Aiden Morris as that ball gets deflected. And it looks like that might have came off of Kendry's paws right there as Miles Robinson now will take the throw-in. And so far, we are 50 seconds in, and we're also seeing the speed in which Ecuador plays with. As that's a turnover right there, and now Ecuador will play this back to Pacho. And it now looks like Ecuador will play this back to Galindez. And Ecuador will restart off the left-hand side as that ball gets played up, headed forward. Looks like that might have been Weah. But it gets played all the way back. As Hernan Galindez will control this for Ecuador. It's going to be... I wonder if the U.S. is going to actually try to press for a large majority of this game. It seems like it, as the U.S. looks like they're going to take this ball away. And so far, Ecuador is doing a very good job here of pressing, making things uncomfortable. As Reem is going to try to play this forward, as Malik Tillman has it taken away. And Tim Ream is going to have to play this forward. There's just nobody there. As it flies all the way back to Pacho. And now the U.S. is going to try to apply pressure. That ball is going to get played up the right-hand side. That's a very good ball. In the box, played forward, and there's Matt Freeze. And that looked like that was played to Plaicedo right there. That dude has got speed. And a cool hairdo. As the U.S. will try to play it again. This one's taken away. And there's a shot that's going to go wide. And right now, Ecuador just literally ran over. I'm going to say Malik Tillman right there, but it was Yaboa that just came out of nowhere, stripped the ball, got into a good area, and put a shot on net. Although it went wide, and it was deflected, so this will get out for a corner here. And Kendry's Paz will be Paez will be taking this corner here for Ecuador. The U.S. just need to calm down a little bit. As Paz will whip this in. That'll come down. There's a shot. And I believe that one went wide. 4 minutes in. Ecuador nearly took the lead as that one just went wide. And it looked like, oh, no deflection. It just went wide. The U.S. dodges a bullet here in the 4th minute. As the U.S. will try to build out of the back. Here's Freeze over to Ream. And he is stuck against the end line there, as the Ecuadorian press has literally given the U.S. no room to breathe here. Unbelievable. As the U.S. try to play it out of the back, Ecuador takes possession right back. That's going to be a takeaway right here. Pushing up the left-hand side. Oh, it's going to be Balogun racing around. He beats his man as that one gets played away and deflected out. And I think this is going to be a U.S. corner. That's a very good play right there by Flo Balogun, who essentially stripped it away and then was off the races. And he beats not one. Yeah, it looked like he beat 2 around the corner before ultimately as the ball was played out. Looks like by William Pacho. So this will be a U.S. corner. And here's Malik Tillman to take this corner. As that ball gets whipped in. Back post. Headed on, but wide. As he was looking for Chris Richards. And there's Poch. As the U.S. will do this corner again here. Tillman will whip this in. Back post again. A little too far forward. And it'll be an Ecuadorian goal kick. As Miles Robinson was at the back post, that one just flew right over his head. A little too much on that corner. As Ecuador now, Galindez will boot this up centrally, headed down, and it looks like it'll be Miles Robinson first to the ball. As Freeze will play this one outright. Here's Robinson. As that almost looked like it was good hold-up play right there, but Ecuador now will have possession as they play it back all the way to Galindez here. And Ecuador will reset here. As they play this one back. And now Galindez will boot this forward all the way down to the right. That's going to be too far over as that gets out for a U.S. throw-in. Looking for Plaicedo. Here's Tim Ream on the left-hand side. Good ball forward. Trying to find Malik Tillman. That's a good touch right there. And now Tillman will play forward Balogun. Here's Balogun, shoots, and that's going to be saved by Galindez as the U.S. gets their first shot. That was a very good give and go. Nice little touch pass right there. By Balogun as the U.S. That was a good ball forward right there by Malik Tillman. As Balogun tried to slot one to the far post right there, but a very good touch pass to Balogun to spring Malik Tillman, and Tillman put a nice little weighted pass forward, finding Balogun. Good ball move right there for the U.S. as they're finding pockets as that ball is going to be played down the left-hand side. Here's Weah. As that's taken away by Ecuador. all the way back to Galindez, and now Ecuador will reset. Here's William Pacho. Pacho! As the U.S. are trying to press here, that ball goes all the way wide left, taken away by the U.S. As that's played back to Reem, who's immediately got to move it. And it looks like Aiden Morris got the ball taken away from him. Here comes Ecuador. And is that taken away by the U.S.? It is. Weah plays the ball forward. Good touch right there, but Arvston's not going to be able to catch up with this one. And Galindez has nothing, no play, but to sky it. And here come the U.S. Good touch pass. And they're going to play it all the way back to Reem. Here's the Arvston. And he's got to play this back. God damn it. No guts, man. No guts. Either drive it forward or look for a runner. As that's going to be played forward. I think it's going to be Balogun. Yeah, and Balogun's going to have to play this back. And the U.S. will reset here with Richards. As Aiden Morris is going to play this forward. Turning the corner here is Balogun. Lays it off for Arvston. As he's going to play this one forward. He's got, oh, look at that. As that one gets tipped out. As he found a running Weston McKennie there. Here's Weah. Playing it forward. As he tried to cross this to the other side. Scooped up by Galindez here as we find out what's going on. That was actually a nice ball in to Tillman. Tillman tried to play it. And I think this one actually got out. This will be I think this is going to be a U.S. corner here. And it will be. It'll be Malik Tillman. Off the left-hand side. So after the initial opening rush of Ecuador, the U.S. have actually controlled this 10 minutes actually quite nicely here. Good ball movement. Here's Tillman. Arm goes up. This ball gets whipped in short. Pops straight up. Headed back down. This will be kept in by Tillman. And I think there's going to be a whistle against Balogun. As the Ecuadorian head coach, the Argentinian is losing his shit on the touchline. As Ecuador now will hold possession. And it'll be Galindez. And he's going to play this one all the way down the right-hand side, headed forward, though. Was Miles Robinson. And I think there's going to be a whistle as Aiden Morris. Looks like he kind of got kicked there. And so the U.S. now will restart. And that one will get out. So the U.S. will restart real quickly right here, as it looked like Timmy Weah was trying to play one down the right-hand side, as that ball that was supposed to go left gets deflected. Here's Pacho. And he has to play this back to Galindez, who will now skies it down the right-hand side. That one's going to be headed on out. And I think this will be an Ecuadorian throw in here. So far, so good for the U.S. As after Ecuador nearly scored, 2 minutes into the first half, it's been all U.S. on the counterattack. They've looked good. They're getting forward in numbers. Cheeky little flicks. Good passes forward. They've been efficient. As that ball gets played into the box. Ooh, they had a runner. Ecuador had a runner there. It looked like that might have been Enter Valencia right there. It was. He made a nice run. That was a great kick into the box. Off the left-hand side. And there is Anthony Robinson and Alex Zendejas, and there's Christian. It's going to be interesting to see if Christian gets into this one, as that one gets played up the right-hand side. And it looked like that was William Pacho that came back to grab that one. And now Galindez will try again, shooting this one up the left-hand side. He's got a runner. And he actually got on the ball right there. Cleared away by the U.S. Held in by Ecuador. And Plaicedo was on it. That looked like when that gets cleared away by Max Arpston. So that will go out for an Ecuadorian Ecuadorian throw-in. Good defense right there by Chris Richards, as that ball actually found a runner. Looked like that was Johan Yaboa. As that's a nice pass forward. That's going to be taken away in the midfield, though. As Way is going to have to play this one back. As the U.S. will get forward here. Here, good ball forward. Tipped. And I believe that gets out. And that'll be a U.S. corner off the right-hand side. As McKenny played way forward, and there was Tanner Tessman making a run. That was nice. That was nice by Tess. As Malik Tillman will take this corner here for the U.S. As that ball gets played forward, headed away by Ecuador. As Aiden Morris played a challenge there. And it looks like there's going to be a whistle here and a yellow card on Chris Richards. As I think that might be Johan Yaboa, who's holding his crotch there. You wonder if, Richards. Oh, he just got pushed from behind there. Oh, I see what happened. There. Richards looks like he pushed Yaboa in the back. He falls, and it looks like he landed on the ball with his, Sucks. We're about 18 minutes, 45 seconds here in the first half. as Ecuador will have the free kick in a pretty dangerous area here. As it looks like everyone's set, that ball's going to get played in, headed out by the U.S. But Ecuador will hold this one. As that ball gets played forward. And now Ecuador will reset again. That's a nice little flick on. But there was a U.S. defender who plays it all the way forward. And it was Miles Robinson. That was a nice little sliding tackle right there by Robinson. As Ecuador now will control possession. Here's William Pacho. That ball goes forward. Taken away by the U.S. Good pass right there off the half turn. But taken away by Ecuador. God damn. That was quick. And flying up the left-hand side was Arfson. Good defense right there. As U.S. will control possession. Here's Tessman playing it forward. That gets deflected, but held in by Miles Robinson. Here's Ream. And Ream will play this forward. And here, and Tim Ream does a very good job right there of holding that back line because it looked like Ecuador was about to break on the counter. And now Ream will play this forward. It's Balogun. Up the left-hand side, Balogun. He's in the box. Balogun shoots. And it just goes wide of the far post. And again, it's Balogun making runs as he beats his defender. And he just missed the far corner. Just missed it. As Ecuador will try to get forward. That one's going to get taken away. It's Placido now. We'll play it forward. As they swing it around to the left-hand side. So that was good defense right there by Wes. As that one gets popped forward, there was just no runner. So Matt Freese will come out and take possession here. See what the U.S. can do here. Here's Ream. We'll play it out to Arfston. Here's Richards. Swings it all the way to the right. As Weah now plays it back to Miles Robinson. And now Matt Freese has no choice but to play it forward. But it drops to Wes. And this Ecuadorian press has the U.S. pinned back a little bit. Good hold-up play right there. It's Balogun. And there is going to be a whistle. So the U.S. get a whistle here after the Ecuadorian press literally had him pinned back. It's very impressive. That's a nice little flick right here. Here's Wes, who's going to try to play one forward, broken up right there. And now here comes Ecuador on the counterattack. That's a good ball. Oh, and Ecuador just scored. Oh. I think that was Enter Valencia right there. As Ecuador takes the 1-0 lead here in the 23rd minute on the counterattack. As they found Valencia making a run there as he beats Chris Richards. puts a nice shot to the far post, beating Matt Freeze. That was a great through ball right there. Hitting Valencia, cuts to the outside, creates his own space, and puts a good ball past Matt Freeze there. And now Ecuador leads 1-0. Woo! That's impressive. Ooh. That's speed, man. And of course, it was their leading scorer, Enter Valencia. So Ecuador takes a 1-0 lead here. Let's see what the U.S. can do, man. That ball is going to get played forward. And it's Wes. Here's Weah. Tillman plays it back out to the right-hand side. That ball goes in. Ooh, it looks like Balogun got into a nice spot right there. But it was Johan Ordonez that will head this one out. So this will be a U.S. corner. It looks like this might be either, third or fourth of the first half. As that one gets played in. Oh, it comes down. There was a shot that was saved right there by Galindez. As the U.S. will keep this in. As that ball goes in. Not that great of a ball into the box. That gets headed out, but the U.S. will hold possession. As the U.S. nearly equalized there, as Galindez made a wonderful save right there. As off that corner, that ball came down. And in the scrum, I want to say that might have been West that got that shot off. As here's Miles Robinson. As Tessman will play this. That's a nice flick. Here's Balogun. Oh, that was a nice through ball right there. But it just gets past Balogun. As Ecuador now hold possession. As Galindez will play this long. Down the right-hand side. Over the head of Arpston. As Ream will try to come down with it. And this is an Ecuador throw-in. As this one gets played back. As here's Pacho. Willian, as he has to play this one back to Galindez. And he's gonna play this one long. As Richards heads it forward. Tap down. Into the possession of Ecuador. As the quick counterattacking of Ecuador sees them leading. That's a good takeaway right there by Arpston. Here's Tillman, who's going to try to play this one forward. He's got his man. It's Wes. And that goes past the end line. As Willian played a very good defense here. Ooh, yeah, that was that. Yeah, I think that might have been. I think that actually might have been Chris Richards that actually got that shot on. So Ecuador here will have the goal kick. And Galindez will sky this. Here's Richards heading it forward. As Tillman try to make a play, but it comes down to Ecuador. As that ball is going to get played all the way down to the right. Nice play by Arpston to head it out. So this will be an Ecuador throw in here. Good tackle right there by Malik Tillman. But there is a whistle. And I think that might have been Kendry's pause right there that hit the deck. So Malik Tillman gets a whistle. I think this is going to be an Ecuador free kick here in a very dangerous location. And it was Alcivar. So if the U.S. aren't careful, they can make this. Ecuador can make this 2 here. As we're pushing the 30th minute in the first half, U.S. trail by 1. Ecuador has the free kick here. As this ball gets swung in, and it'll go well over the crossbar. So this will be a U.S. goal kick here. As the U.S. will be playing out of the back. Here comes the press, almost taken away right there. Here's Robinson, who's going to have to play this long. And Ecuador now. They're doing a really good job. That's a good play right here by Tanner Tessman. As the U.S. will race down in numbers, trying to play one forward, as that will get out. As Timmy Weah made a nice run. As it was Aiden Morris that was able to hold possession and play one forward. As Ecuador now will have the goal kick here. And it will be just Balogun now with the initial press as that one goes all the way down the length of the pitch, and the U.S. now will have possession. Let's see if the U.S. can actually find a goal before the end of the first half here. As my guy Rich Rod 908 checks in. He says, I'm tired of the first team being absent. That's funny. Well, here's the thing, right? You kind of have to give credit to Ecuador in some respects. As Tessman will play one forward. Here's Wes. And it's Aiden Morris. That's Tess right there. Number 4. As Chris Richards now will play this back to Ream as the U.S. will reset. Here's Morris. And it'll be Wes. As the U.S. try to work from left to right. And they do. Successfully, I might add. Here's Tanner. And he will play this back to Ream, who quickly finds Aiden Morris. Morris out to the left. Finds Arfston. Lays it off for Aiden. Morris will play one in. Finds his man. Turns. Wes. Oh. No whistle. And here comes Ecuador. Ooh, good defense right there. Taken away by the U.S. And instead of playing it forward, Morris resets. Here's Weston McKenney. And it gets played back to Chris Richards. Morris. And he's got to play this play this back because Ecuador is trying to put the screws on the press. And there's just nobody there. Try to get around the corner. And it looks like play will stop here. As Rich Rod said, they have Valencia and the A team playing. We put a few first teamers out there. This team will be learning each other in the actual World Cup. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Right? No Anthony Robinson, who was never going to play in this window anyways. Allegedly, they just brought him in to be around the group. Yeah, but Christian's out. Dest is out. Adams is out. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, a good portion of the first team is in, though. As it looks like the physios are out there working on a Ecuadorian, what was it, a cramp? Is that what we got going on here? I wonder what the difference is between an American and an Ecuadorian cramp. As it looks like they're all down there getting instruction from Maurizio. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying though, right? It's going to be like from here on out, they're going to get the very best. Looks like they're going to get everybody's first team from here on out, right? So from that standpoint, the U.S. the U.S. should actually put themselves in a position where they actually make sure that the team that's going to be there at the World Cup is going to get all the minutes they can together. But then again, you also have to wonder, Rich, whether or not that the clubs are calling the shots, right? Like all of a sudden, allegedly Christian's got a knock, right? And you wonder whether or not AC Milan essentially said, like, listen, you're not going to play him 90 for 2 games. Like, you can have him for 60 minutes, and that ball gets played forward. Looks like that's Wes. Here's Arfson playing one in. Ooh, I think that hit off the post. That got redirected off the post. As we see that again, it was Arfson who played one forward that got headed down. And that got redirected. Oh, no, it was just a good save. Okay. I got you now. I got you. That was just a good save. As Galindez, holy shit, has made like 3 great saves here in the first half. The U.S. actually potentially could have scored already, as this will be a goal kick here for Ecuador. Is Curacao going to make the World Cup? Potentially, man. Potentially. Potentially, I think they beat Jamaica today, right? 2-0. As looks like in Group A, Suriname leads Group A by a point over El Salvador. Curacao holds a 1-point lead over Jamaica. The Reggae Boys and Haiti and Honduras are tied at 5 points. And I think the second place finishers go into a playoff. Can you imagine if Suriname qualifies? Can you imagine? As that ball gets played forward down the right-hand side. That's a great ball to save. As Ecuador now will try to play it forward. Oh, nice play by Chris Richards because he got beat. But he stuck his foot in there, but that's going to be offsides anyways. But yeah, can you imagine a team like Suriname qualifying? That's why I hate the extended field. it actually, you're like, why have qualifying if you're going to have 64 teams in? That ball's going to get played up, held in by West to the left-hand side. It's Arfson tipping it forward, turns, and that ball gets deflected out. And it was Malik Tillman that they're going to say offsides. Why have World Cup qualifying if essentially every country can get in? The idea of qualifying is to make it hard to be able to showcase in the finals. That's the idea. But if you're gonna, I think they're gonna keep this format for 2026 and 2030, and then they want to extend it to 64 by 2034. That's a good flick forward. That's a good sliding tackle. And they're going to say yellow card on Miles Robinson. That was actually a really good tackle. Along the right-hand touchline. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Now that you see it again, you're like, okay. He kind of got his foot. That's why the hex has always been important for the U.S. The reverse fixtures, going to Mexico, going to Honduras, going to Costa Rica, going to Honduras. Granted, yeah, maybe those teams aren't going to get you ready per se, but the environments of playing in hostile environments, playing through adversity through Central America, that will get you ready for a World Cup. It's of course those teams are always rough and tumble anyway, right? So, but getting through World Cup qualifying definitely help the U.S. Get ready for many a World Cup, right? So expanding a World Cup takes it takes the excitement away from qualifying. Here's Richard. We need to beat a team like Ecuador. Potential types of teams we have to. Yeah, I agree. This is essentially what I would consider a round of 16 game right here, a traditional round of 16 team right now. As it looks like Ecuador are going to have to make a substitution here. As it looks like there is an injury. As that ball gets played back to Glindas, who automatically skies it. Headed forward by Ream, but it's going to come down to Tanner Tessman. As he's going to play this one out. It looks like Weah tried to play it forward. That gets taken away. And there's Chris Richards taking away the angle right there. As the U.S. will hold possession. As you can see exactly what they were trying to do. Essentially play a quick ball forward after Tessman made the initial pass, but sure enough, that passing lane immediately gets taken away. As the U.S. will try again here. It is being played in Austin, Texas, sir, at Q2, home of your Austin FC. As Aiden Morris now. And it has to get played back as the U.S. have yet to find a way to deal with the Ecuadorian pressure. Here's Aiden Morris. Plays it out left. It's Archton. And there's a whistle here. As Aiden Morris hit the deck. And so Estupinan will have to come out, and Medina will check in for Ecuador as we are in the 43rd minute. As the U.S. are trying to look for their first goal. That's a nice little give and goal around. There's a shot. And it just goes wide of the post. Oh, Timmy Weah nearly tied it. Oh, that was such a good give and go. As Malik Tillman played a cheeky little flick. Oh, it was deflected. Oh, that's why. God damn it. So this will be a corner. As Malik Tillman will whip this one in. Good ball. It's going to get headed up and out. So they'll redo it here as we are quickly approaching the 45th minute. You wonder what effect a guy like Christian Pulisic would have in this first half. That's what I wonder. Their ball movement was good. They were getting shots, but you wonder what effect a guy like Christian would have, and it makes you wonder if we're going to see him in the second half. And it looks like we're ready to start this corner again, as the ref has given out warnings. As that ball gets played to the back post, and there's Galindez. I wouldn't. Yeah, like here's what I will say. It's like, we are definitely getting balls in to an extent. Are we outplaying them? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily go that far. Because we are having, as this ball gets played forward, as West is going to continue to try to push this one. It's Weah. Here's West as that ball gets deflected. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess you can say in possession, sure. And we are getting forward. We are finding space, right? So just with them not having Moises Caicedo has helped. As this will be an Ecuadorian, yeah, and we have hit the post. I think we hit the post once. As Balogun got free early and put a shot on, trying to go far post. As that one comes down, and now the U.S. will try to push up off the right-hand side again. Here's Wes. Here's Weah. Take it away. That's the thing. It's like that right there. That shit bugs me. It's like they get into good areas and then automatically Ecuador closes it down. It takes it away. But yeah, like the only thing that Ecuador really has done is the counterattack that led to the goal. But outside of that, I will say that we have held possession. We've had better ball movement. We have gotten into good areas, and there's a race to the ball right here. Here comes Balogun. He's beat his man. Balogun cuts. Balogun plays it forward. There's a ball. Oh, and it goes long. And I think that might have been Aiden Morris. And that was a great pass, and I think that might have been West right there. That sprung Balogun. And Balogun laid it off, and it was it was deflected. It was Aiden Morris. As there's going to be 4 minutes of stoppage time here at the end of the first half. And this is going to be a goal kick for Ecuador. And Galindez will sky this one. And it looks like that's the end of the first half here, with Ecuador leading 1-0. The U.S. have had their opportunities. To equalize. They've done a good job. As Ecuador leads 1-0 on the Ender Valencia goal. as he absolutely beat Chris Richards, and he beat Matt Freese to the far post. So that was actually a really good goal. So let's look at the stats here. In the first half, the U.S. have controlled possession 67-33. Total shots, the U.S. 6, Ecuador 4. Shots on target 2-1, United States. Accurate passes, the United States 227, Ecuador 101. Fouls committed, Ecuador 5, U.S. 4, and the U.S. leads the corner battle 7-1. When we look at shots in depth, obviously total shots 6-4. Shots inside the box, the U.S. 5, Ecuador 2. It lets you know that the U.S. definitely are getting into good space with inside the box. Outside the box, it is Ecuador 2, the U.S. 1. Passes total 255 for the U.S., Ecuador 134. Passes in our own half, the U.S. 128, Ecuador 63. Passes in the opposition half, 99-38 for the U.S. Accurate long balls is even at 13. Accurate crosses, the U.S. 4, Ecuador 0. Touches in the opposition box, 16 for the U.S., 5 for Ecuador. So, yeah, again, they're doing a very good job. Defense tackles, Ecuador leads 6-3. Interceptions, the U.S. leads 6-5. Clearances 9-5 Ecuador. Duels, the U.S. 15, Ecuador 2. Ground duels 10-9 Ecuador. Aerial duels 6, Ecuador 2. Successful dribbles 2, Ecuador 0. So from that standpoint, it's showing a pattern that not only have the U.S. Been controlling possession, but they're also actually getting forward and playing good balls into the box. It's just that finishing. That last little finishing piece right now that simply eludes it. Although the U.S. have hit the post, but they have gotten unlucky when it comes to, when it actually comes to actual chances created. It's not something that we've necessarily had in the first half. That being said, it's like, what was it? Chris Richards off a corner played one that got saved. Aiden Morris just had one right before the end of the half as the U.S. were getting runners in the box as Balogun held that one up and Aiden Morris got that one deflected. There's been multiple opportunities, just no finish results yet for the U.S. But that being said, they've actually played a very good first game. As a matter of fact, I think I'm bold enough to say that the U.S. actually has taken it to Ecuador. They just have yet to get that finished result. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly if there's going to be changes at the halftime. A big part of me thinks that, Pochettino will probably stick with this for at least a good 15, 20 minutes before actually making changes. I guess the real question for everybody out there is if we're going to see Christian in this one at some point, right? Especially if we're chasing that one goal, the potential to have Christian come in off that left side underneath Balogun there. So that's going to be interesting to see exactly how that one's going to play out. I would probably assume we also potentially might see Diego Luna in this one. It wouldn't necessarily shock me. As a like-for-like sub for maybe Wes. I guess the thing is also like, are we going to see either Haji Wright or Patrick Agyemang at some point? I would probably assume that you're probably going to keep your best striker on for a large portion of this match. But that being said, right, if the U.S. defense keeps Ecuador exactly where it's at, and they're chasing a goal, the question is what's going to be the rotation when it comes to the subs. Quickly, let's turn our attention to CONCACAF, the region that is currently fighting for global supremacy. I'm just playing. So yesterday, looks like Haiti beat Nicaragua 3-0. Costa Rica and Honduras played to a 0-0 draw. Guatemala and Suriname played to a 1-1 draw. And it looks like Trinidad and Tobago beat Bermuda 3-0 today. And let's see. And it looks like Curacao beat Jamaica 2-0. And currently right now, El Salvador is playing Panama. As we look at the standings here, and it looks like we're in the final round of qualifying here in Group A. Suriname leads Group A with 5 points, and nipping at their heels is El Salvador with 4. But Panama sitting in third on 3 points with 3 draws. So the question is when Panama is going to get their ass in gear, because you cannot necessarily allow Suriname to win that group. That would be an absolute. That would just be absolutely shambolic. Curacao leads Group B on 7 points, 2 wins and a draw. They have a 1-point lead over Jamaica. Sitting 3 points back is Trinidad and Tobago on 4 points, and Bermuda is sitting on 0 points. Poor Bermuda. And then, of course, Haiti leads Group C. And it looks like they lead on goal differential, but they are even on points with Honduras. So obviously the 3 winners advance, and I believe another 2 come out of the second place draw. So I think CONCACAF gets 8 in this one. I think CONCACAF gets 8. If I'm correct on this one, let me know in the chat, because I think I read somewhere that it was actually because we have the 3 automatic qualifiers plus 3 more that win the group, and I think 2 second place finishers will get in. Let's see. We have Crest 11 Football says Valencia, the legend continues, and fully expect Ajamang. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on this one, although the right play is obviously Haji Wright, though. I would probably assume that dude's in form. And especially for the way that we're going to need to play in the second half when it comes to the hold-up play, right? Haji Wright is just far better suited than Patrick Ajamang, who seems to fall in hold-up play, but I digress. Let's see. So what positions advance? The 3 group leaders and 2 I think it's 2 second place teams. I could be wrong. It could be 1 second place team, but I think it's the 3 groups, the 3 group winners, and then I think it's 2 second place teams, which would be Jamaica and Honduras, and El Salvador would get left out. It could be just 1 second place finisher, and that would mean the Reggae Boys get in. Yeah. That's something that I want to see, man. I want to see the Reggae Boys in the World Cup. They're probably going to get smoked, but still, though. He says Suriname and Curacao would be great. Yeah, it would actually kind of be embarrassing if Suriname got in. By the way, can you even point on the map where Suriname is? So we're gonna get ready for the second half here. And again, the U.S. did a fabulous job in the first half. I would say that Rich Rod here pointed out in the first half that indeed, and I do concur, that for the most part, outside of the Inter Valencia goal that has Ecuador up 1-0, the U.S. has essentially outplayed them, which has been absolutely brilliant. But it's the finishing quality that has eluded the U.S. up to this point in every facet of the match. So, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they're going to be able to get the equalizer, and if they continue playing like this way, deep into the second half, there is a possibility that we could find the second goal in the winner right there. But as of right now, within the first 10 minutes, the U.S. has to reestablish themselves and at least get the equalizer early. That is an absolute must to start the second half. Let's see. We have Rich Rod says nope. He has no idea where Suriname is. Let's see. Crest 11 Football says no intercontinental playoff for one CONCACAF this time. I don't. I'm gonna have to find that out real quick. All right, let's see. Let's find out here. All right, three no shit. Yeah, so here's what it is, right? They can have up to 8 teams. So it is the three host countries, 3 direct qualifying spots, so the three group winners. In addition, 2 more CONCACAF teams can qualify through the playoff tournament, potentially bring into a total of 8. So there it is. There will be a tournament to decide, intercontinental tournament to decide who gets in. But CONCACAF can have up to 8. Let's see. Suriname will make it to the knockout stage. Book it. We have ourselves the first Suriname guarantee right here. And let's see. We need ourselves a Valencia an automatic goal scorer. You don't think that Balogun is that? You don't think that Balogun could potentially qualify to be that? But you're right, though. Enter Valencia is fucking amazing. I think he plays for Pachuca. Yeah, I think that's correct. So we are getting very, very, very close to the start of the second half here. So let's see. I have a group stage draw prediction for our boys here, and let's see. He goes on to say that U.S., Qatar, Austria, and Ghana. So let me ask you a question, Crest 11, real quick. Does the U.S. come out of that group? Good question. And he says Ballot could be, I like him, but he's not automatic. Yeah. I would agree with that. You know, the one, God, if like as of right, like here is a interesting thing because I was talking about this. Like I would be happy with an Eddie Johnson at this stage, up top, or I would kill for a Josie Altidore type striker, profile striker. Like back in the day, our strikers weren't really world class, but they were effective though. And they did a really good job playing off both Donovan and Dempsey. And we got a lot of good production from those 3. And it just, I don't know, man. The profile of players that are coming through now are just very different. Very different. But then again, the game's changed as well, too. So it's not a surprise. Then again, 9 points in that group. They gained 9 points in that group, but all close wins. So you think they? Okay. So what you're saying is that in that group, they win it, huh? Yeah, maybe. I actually think we get beat by Austria. We beat Qatar, get beat by Austria, and we draw against Ghana. That's a very good question, man. Let's see. All right, what are the projected pots here? So the U.S. is in pot 1. And so we get an opponent from all 4 pots, right? So I'm going to say, I don't even know if Italy qualifies. That's the crazy thing. So I will say from pot 4, we'll get Saudi Arabia. From pot 3, we'll get Paraguay. And from pot 2, we'll get Denmark. So Denmark, Paraguay, and I'll say Saudi Arabia. So Denmark, I'll say Denmark, Paraguay, and Saudi Arabia. And I think we get 4 points in that group. We have Hernan Lescano. Greetings from Ecuador. Ecuador is a great team, ranked 2nd in South America, which is not easy for the United States, as we're seeing right now. As Ecuador has had a very, very solid first half as they currently lead. By the way, just a quick reminder to make sure you hit that like and subscribe buttons, and also make sure you turn on your notification bell, as Stateside Footy is going to have very good content moving forward. So do yourselves a favor, make sure you guys show some love. So we are getting set for the second half here from Austin, Texas, as it looks like there's going to be some changes to start the second half for Ecuador. And it looks like Kevin Rodriguez will be checking into this one. And potentially, I think it looks like it's going to be maybe Patrick Mercado coming in. And it looks like the U.S. remains unchanged. And we begin the second half with the U.S. moving from left to right, playing to the home stand now, as Galindez now skies this one forward, headed forward, as this ball being ping-pongs, but it will end at the foot of Ecuador. But that one's immediately taken away. So here's the U.S. As that ball is going to get shot forward. As Ecuador now will hold possession. Good tip away by the U.S. Here's Wes. Wes is going to try to play this one forward to Balogun. There's just nobody there. As it looks like this one will get played all the way forward. And that was a nice little play right there by Aiden Morris, right between the legs to regain possession. And here's Matt Freeze, and that was dangerous right there by Tim Ream. As the U.S. will start again. Here's Miles Robinson. Out to Aiden Morris. And now this swings all the way back to Chris Richards now. As the U.S. are going to have to get a goal early here in the second half. And there's a whistle. So this will go the other way as Tim Ream gets whistled as Rodriguez hits the deck. So this will be a free kick for Ecuador here. No doubt the U.S. are just going to have to take far more chances here in the second half. As that ball gets played in, headed away. Good tip right here. Here comes the U.S. now. As that ball gets played all the way to the left. And I think it's Arfton here. And that's got to get played back. As that one will go to the far post there, headed back. And now here comes Ecuador. As Aiden Morris tried to get that one away, that gets going to get played all the way to the right side. Here's Rodriguez. And there's nobody there as Chris Richards immediately clears the box. And now the U.S. will hold possession. I can get the ball forward. God damn it. Let's see. As Rich Rod says, Spain dominant, U.S. holds second. Spain, USA, Senegal, Japan, USA surprises, wins group first. Okay. I don't think Japan will ever finish fourth. That's a good ball in the box, and that automatically gets cleared. Tough fight. U.S. edges out Africa, Asia tie. Spain, U.S., Japan, Senegal. European and African upset. USA fights for third place spot. Spain, Senegal, U.S., Japan. We have Jonathan Mora, made in Ecuador. What's up? Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. He said that was a Chat GPT prediction. Here's the U.S. Ooh, that was close. That got tipped up. And we have AK Shags. Come on, you Spurs. As here comes Ecuador, and that's going to be taken away, but they're gonna call a whistle here. As we watch that again, as Weah played one, as Balogun tried to put one on net. Now, was he putting on net, or was he trying to find the back post? That was good defense right there by Ecuador. They're doing a good job of pressing on the wings right there. They're doing pretty well. As Malik Tillman playing his rough and tumble game. I like Malik. That dude is a good ball. That dude's a baller. As that one will get a play on the right hand side here. I think this is going to be an Ecuador throw, and it will. Ooh. As AK Shag says, not following the USMNT like I should. We do what we need to do to qualify. Have we already done it? We don't have to qualify because we're a host nation. As that one gets played through, trying to dribble through, I think there's going to be a whistle. Yeah, there will be. Looks like that might be on Johan Ordonez. As this is actually what's funny is we're getting into the right spaces. We're just not getting shots. So at the end of the day, I think Ecuador has done a very good job of holding tough. That back four has done its job. Absolutely, man. That's what I'm here for. Should be a card considering cards ref. Yeah. You're not wrong, Rich. You're not wrong. As it's Miles Robinson now. He's going to play this one forward. Nice little tip to Timmy Weah. That's taken away right there by Tessman. Tessman's going to play one in. Yeah, good for Canada. Yeah, it's very good for Canada. I think they would have qualified, though. Although they're without their best player, though. And that was actually a really good run by Balogun. He goes near post to catch up with that ball. Nearly got it too. But this will go out for a goal kick here, as West will try to press. But Galindez gets one off, as Ream will hold it, and the U.S. will get possession back. That really was a nice cross. It was. I just like the tenacity of Tessman to get that ball away and to continue to run forward right there. Yeah, absolutely, AK. I'm sure you're waiting for the international break to be over so you can watch our beloved Tottenham Hotspur. As that's a good ball forward. Let me rephrase that. That was actually kind of a shitty ball forward because that was to absolutely nobody. So we're in the 53rd minute. U.S. still trails by 1. As again, the U.S. has actually been far more goal dangerous than Ecuador. And outside of the goal on the counterattack by Aaron Valencia, the U.S. have actually done a very good job against Ecuador. That was a nice play right there by Miles Robinson. So this will get out for an Ecuadorian throw. As Aiden Morris did a really good job right there. As that one gets played all the way back to Galindez. Scrambles, but gets one off, but right to U.S. attackers, except for Malik Tillman played it right back. Oh, Malik. Oh, look at Tanner. Good duel right there for Tanner. As Balogun will play it to Malik. Tipped away. Oh, nice play by Timmy Weah right there. And there will be a whistle right there. As that went against number 20 for Ecuador right there. As so the U.S. will quickly start this off the left-hand side. And Arkston's under pressure. That's a good ball right there. As this now is going to get cycled back. And here's Wes. Wes is going to try to play one forward. There's just that was a waste of a possession there. As here comes Ecuador now up the right-hand side. Plays it forward. There's Richards to clean it up as that ball gets out of play. Just a quick reminder for all you guys that coming up, the live stream for U.S. versus Australia will also be here on Stateside Footy, as it is the second leg of this October window. Hopefully, we'll have a new platform that we'll be doing these live streams off of that will actually have a new game day experience for you guys. So I'm really looking forward to it. It looks like that ball got out. So the U.S. now will control possession. And here's Weah. As that was not the greatest pass by Aiden Morrison. That's going to be a turnover. Oh, that was Look at that. Ecuador's got speed, man. As that ball was going to get played in, that's tipped away. No, yeah, no, I'll still be on YouTube, yeah, for sure. I'm talking about the hosting platforms. I'm thinking about looking into OBS and seeing how that works because I can actually attach it to my Stream Deck, and then I can actually have overlays and actually have a good live stream for you guys. So that's what I'm looking to do. As here comes Ecuador now. As that ball is going to get played deep to the right-hand side. As Ecuador now playing it to the left. Ooh, nearly taken away right there by Wes. As this is the first time Ecuador's actually held possession in a long time. As that ball's going to go in. Trying to find back post. That gets out. Yeah, it looks like it, Rich. It certainly does look like Freeze is our number one. Although it's going to be interesting to see who gets game two. Wasn't necessarily a fan of the 4 goalkeepers, so that leads me to believe that they still haven't really hammered down who's going to be the third. But it looks like the U.S. here are going to make a double switch, and it looks like it's going to be Diego Luna and Alex Freeman coming in. Not exactly a big fan of this, as Ecuador will have a corner here. As that ball gets whipped in short. Tried to get cleared, but Ecuador holds it in here. And now they have to play it all the way back to their keeper. And Galindez will bomb this one up centrally. Oh, and they're going to say Anguelo committed a foul there against Miles Robinson. So U.S. dodged the bullet right there. As we begin to play again here. It's a good layup there from Tessman. Here's Weah. Here's Tillman. Taken away. Here comes Ecuador. Jesus Christ, that dude is speedy. As Valencia will stay down. As this gets played up the left-hand side. Trying to play around the corner. Tipped away. And that'll get out. As we're now in the 62nd minute. So Miles Robinson comes out for Freeman. And here comes Diego Luna. So Alex Freeman will check in. And so will Diego Luna. And so that means what? Wes is out? Jesus Christ. Is anybody capable of taking a pass on the half turn and just looking forward? As Ecuador now is trying to press here. As Ecuador thought they might have taken possession there, but it falls back down to Chris Richards. Let's see. Bruh, I thought Valencia was going to zoom past everyone. Yeah. You're only able to catch defenders flat-footed once. And here come the US now. As Luna will play this one back. Here's Luna. That was a great play right there. Was that Freeman? Great play by Freeman right there. As Luna came deep to make a touch. Only to pass the ball backwards. That's a good, there you go. Tanner Tessman plays it forward off the left. Ball in. Oh, that was a great job by the Uruguayan defender right there to keep it from being a corner. So the U.S. will throw this one in. And again. And they're going to have to play this one back. It seems like the U.S. just can't get anything going here. As that's taken away, that's a good interception right here. As they're going to try to play this one forward. Nope. Looks like they were trying to find Valencia centrally right there. Ball was behind them. As Luna now will play this one to the right. Again, good defense by Ecuador. As the U.S. are searching for the equalizer here. And there's a whistle. Here's Weah. Here's Freeman. Tessman. Aiden Morris. The U.S. are just very good at passing the ball around right now. Is anybody going to make a run? Ugh. Here's Malik Tillman, who came deep. As that one finally, out of sheer boredom, somebody knocked it out of bounds. That was Timmy Weah. It's like they have no ideas right now. Nothing just seems to work. Nobody's making runs. No balls over the top. No inverted runs. That's a good pass forward. It's just a little too far forward. You know what's funny though, Rich? Just keep the ball in the backfield. Won't win the game, but we can say we won possession. Yeah, it's the moral victories. Right, but the thing about it is, it's like I don't care about possession. I really don't. I don't care if we have 60, 70% of the ball. Who cares if we didn't do shit with it? That's like somebody told me a joke recently, and it was a great joke. And apparently it had to do with the soccer coach who gave the analogy after a post game where they only had like 30%, 30% of the possession. I think it was like a winning game, and the coach essentially goes to the press conference and says, "Ooh," and says something like when a reporter asked him about possession, and he says he's like everybody everybody talks about possession. It's like the equivalent of being in a bar and you see a very pretty girl, and you spend 4 or 5 hours. You spend 4 or 5 hours and you buy her drinks, and then at the last moment, a guy comes in, picks her up. Here's Luna, and that shot was point blank, but right at the keeper. And the guy comes in at the end and takes her home, but it's okay because I spent 4 hours with her. That's great. That was a great joke. So here come the U.S. now, and it's Luna, and it's Freeman. Oh, that was a good ball, but Freeman can't get to it, and it'll eventually get out. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, totally. You spend 5 to 6 hours with a woman. You're buying her drinks, you're making her laugh, but a guy comes in at the very end and takes her home. But it's okay though, because you held possession for 6 hours. And it looks like Christian's getting ready. Hey, here comes the U.S. It's Luna. Here's Freeman. It's Weah. Cutting inside. Trying to flick it on. Ooh, that shot goes over the bar. Eventually, we're going to need to bury one here. That was a good run by Weah right there. The U.S. needed something. That was a good flick. And you just got to finish it, man. You got to finish those chances. It was a good flick on by Tillman. Good tap on by Balogun right there to spring Weah. But you got to bury those chances, man. That's a turnover. Here's Tillman. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's Balogun. It's Balogun and the U.S. have equalized. In the 71st minute, the U.S. have pulled even here. And Balogun has now scored in his second straight match for the U.S. As the U.S. have been essentially counter-pressing this entire second half here. As we see Tanner Tessman springing Tillman, and it was Balogun with the finish, beating Hernan Galindez. Look at that flick right on forward by Tessman. And it was Balo with the finish. Good finish right there. Take that, Ecuador. Suckers! No offside. No offsides, though, right? It's just our luck. It's just our luck. As the U.S. has finally drawn even here in the 71st minute. As the restart has happened, as Ecuador now as the U.S. have gotten their one. As the Ecuador tries to play it long there. That's taken away in a bad area. There's the shot. Ooh, nice play by Freeze right there. Yeah, I was gonna ask you. That looked like it was Pulisic that came in. That came on. Here come the US. And that's a turnover. That's a bad turnover. That's gonna be played all the way to the left-hand side. And that's gonna get deflected out. So it will be all of a sudden now Ecuador. Is taking away passing lanes. And Ecuador's pressing again now that it's 1-1. As this will be an Ecuadorian corner kick here. And it looks like Campana has come on as Enter Valencia will check off. As that ball gets played in, headed up. And I think this is going to be a whistle. So the U.S. will have the goal kick here. So now we have what? 15 minutes to find the winner. As this gets played to Luna. Here's Arpston. As that kick was wild right there by Luna. All right, guys, let's get this winner here. Here's Tillman on the right-hand touch line. And there is a whistle. As the U.S. will restart. As Richards will play it out to the right. Here's Tillman. Tillman's going to play this one forward. But Ecuador is taking it away. As Pulisic is now on the pitch. Yeah, way to press there, Christian. As that ball gets deflected, but Ecuador will hold it in. I just want to see Christian hustle a little bit. As that gets played all the way back to Galindez. We have 15 minutes. As that goes out to the left here. As that ball gets played forward. Headed on. Oh, that's a good header right there. Ooh, look at Matt Freeze, full extension. Good save by Freeze. Ooh. They had a runner too. That was a beautiful save right there. Essentially cutting everything out. Yeah. Exactly. As that ball gets tipped out right there, as Balogun came deep to make a touch there. That was a good play by Freeze. As there's the U.S. throw-in. Here's Malik Tillman. as that ball gets played forward, as Luna's trying to make a run. As Galindez have to play it, but the U.S. will intercept here and will hold possession. That's funny. You're still disgusting playing for NYCFC, but play well. Jesus. What is this, like an anti-MLS statement here? Or it's just NYCFC? As here's Freeman. As they try to play it forward. As it gets away from Malik Tillman. Oh, okay, you're in it. Yeah, but you know what though? I think NYRB are about to miss the playoffs for the first time in like forever, as that one gets played out. Red Bull have not been good this year. As they will play this all the way back. Oh, that was nice by Freeman. Yeah, they are officially out. That's like the first time, like in what, like 15 years, something like that. Like they had, I think they had like the longest streak of making the playoffs in MLS. As we're now in the 79th minute. As that throw-in will go all the way back, and here's Willian Pacho. And he's got to play this back to Galindez. And there's the restart. That one goes long. There's Chris Richards, but Ecuador will pull this one down as he'll get around the corner. That ball's in, headed on forward, but there's freeze. As we are pushing the 80th minute, yeah, it was something crazy like 15 years. As that ball gets played all the way up. But Ecuador will control possession. So as soon as the U.S. Equalize, all of a sudden there's been a switch in momentum here as Ecuador has retained possession, as now they're going to put a whistle on Christian Roldan. As it looks like Balogun's going to be coming off here for Haji Wright. So there it is, man. No Ajimang. It's going to be Mr. Haji. Welcome back. Welcome back, Haji. So it looks like Aiden Morris came off for Christian Roldan. Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's got to be a card. He's got to show yellow on this one. Because that dude literally just manhandled. As here's the restart. It's Alex Freeman. I don't know. Have you been paying attention to Coventry this year? He looks pretty good. He looks really good at Coventry. And that ball's taken away. Haji lays it off. That was bad. Here comes Ecuador now. And that's taken away by Arfton. Here's Maximilian. Plays it forward. That's good defense right there. As they played Haji forward. But it gets played out, so this will be a U.S. corner. See if they can get the winner. This is exactly what I predicted yesterday in pregame. I predicted a 1-1 draw. I thought the U.S. had enough talent to get a result tonight against a very good Ecuadorian side. As Pulisic now will play this one in. Ooh, right to the keeper. Good set of hands right there by Galindez. And he will play this long. Here's Freeman. And Freeman tits him to himself, but there's a whistle. And finally, God damn it, finally this ref shows yellow on Medina. Yeah. I wonder if that's actually a Maybelline right there, a makeup call. Didn't necessarily look like it was yellow worthy, but that being said, man, Ecuador's gotten a little physical now in the last 15, 20 minutes as that ball gets played forward. But they're going to say offsides. As Ecuador now will have a throw and that gets played. That's good. That's good right there. As that gets headed out. Is that McKenzie on the pitch too? I think so. I believe so. Yeah, Mark McKenzie's in. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. As this one gets played all the way back to Galindez. He's going to sky this one. That's going to get out for a U.S. throw-in. Here's Diego Luna. We'll lay it off. It's Arfston. Here's Testament. Who plays it back to Chris Richards. Who finds Testament again. Here's Testament, who's going to go central. And it looks like Malik Tillman tried to play it forward, but right there was Hernan Galindez. So we're in the 85th minute now. As that ball is going to get played long. That's a good pass right here. Here comes Ecuador. That's good U.S. defense right there. That's a good pass by McKenzie. Excuse me, that was Freeman. Freeman's going to play it to the left. Arfston has to go get it. Here's Pulisic. The Croatian sensation. And now the U.S. are going to have to try to cycle this one again. Here's Roldan. It's Freeman. Just find the winner, guys. That's a good pass right there. That was a good pass into Haji. But there's the whistle. As Vite is at the deck. As we're now in the 86th. Excuse me, the 87th. How was that a foul on Haji? Dude just passed the ball. Vite lost control of the ball. And Haji just came to his backside and kicked it away. I would agree. I would agree. Oh, McKenzie came in for Ream. That's what's going on. Here's rolled on. That's a good pass. Here's Haji right. Haji cutting in, shooting. That's a good save. I would agree, Rich. I would agree. But what I liked most was that Christian continued his run. He was there for any potential rebound right there, as they're going to be a whistle. Will Ream be in the World Cup? I would assume. I would assume Tim Ream will be there. But that being said, it's like, what I really want to see is Mark McKenzie get a start. That's what I want to see. Instead of Ream, I want to see what that looks like in a back three of like McKenzie on the left, McKenzie on the left, Richards on the right, and then Cameron Carter-Vickers playing centrally in the back three. That's what I want to see what that looks like. As that ball gets played forward. Tip down, here's Ecuador. As that ball gets played in, there's nobody there. That's good defense. That'll get out for a corner. As Malik Tillman tried to race that one down, but the U.S.'s defending corners have actually been excellent. And it looks like Alvisar is coming off for Castillo, as Ecuador is going to make a change here in the 89th minute. And we have now hit 90. And it'll be 3 minutes of stoppage time here. And there's Matt Freeze, who will play this out. Here's Freeman. As Tillman will make the switch to the left-hand side. That ball's going to go forward. It hits Haji in the box. Haji will keep possession for the U.S. As that will get out. As Christian tried to make a run right there. Come on, Captain America. Win one. As Galindez now will play this long. As we are approaching the 92nd minute here. As that one's going to get tipped up and forward. As Tanner Tesman now will try to start the U.S. break here. As that ball is going to go to the left. To the right. Here's Freeman. And now here's Luna on the left. As that one will get played to Arfston. Arfston, play this forward. Beats his man to the back. As that'll go out for a U.S. throw-in. Here's Malik Tillman now. Can the U.S. find a winner here? As it looks like Tillman stalling here. And he'll throw this one in. And it looks like there's the whistle. Oh, actually, that's the final whistle right there. As the U.S. gets a late equalizer by Balogun. And this match finishes off like I thought it would. 1-1 draw. As the U.S. played a very good game today. And I'll tell you what, man. You know, according to the ELO rankings, Panama is the 9th best team in the world. And for the U.S., who, by the way, conversely is ranked 46th in the world, for the U.S. to pull out a 1-1 draw against a very good Ecuadorian side, this is the right way to start off a window. Now, all of a sudden, the U.S. starts off the October window very well. Let's see. We have Rip is a coward. Yeah, I agree. Let's go ahead and look at the stats on this one. As the U.S. finished with 66% of the possession to Ecuador's 34. The U.S. managed 11 shots to Ecuador's 8. The U.S. had 5 shots on target to Ecuador's 4. They also had, one big chance. Accurate passes, U.S. 511, Ecuador 224. Fouls committed, Ecuador 12, U.S. 9, and the U.S. won the corner battle 8-4. So speaking of shots, 11-8 total shots inside the box, 8-4. Although Ecuador did beat the U.S. with shots outside the box 4-3. Obviously the U.S. hit the woodwork once. Total passes, U.S. 583, Ecuador 303. Passes in their own half, U.S. 261, Ecuador 142. Passes in the opposition half, U.S. 250 to Ecuador's 82. So that lets you know that the U.S. spent a good portion of this match in Ecuador's side of the pitch, and that's something that I've been wanting to see for quite some time. I just wanted to see the U.S. just control large portions of this match, and they did exactly that. That was nice to see. Would have liked to see the game winner, but it is what it is. Accurate long balls, Ecuador 21, U.S. 19. Accurate crosses, U.S. 4, Ecuador 2. 16 throws to U.S.'s 12. Touches in the opposition box, 26 to Ecuador's 9. And the U.S. were offside 3 times. Let's see. Defense tackles, Ecuador 15, U.S. 12. Interceptions, Ecuador 14, U.S. 10. Let's see. Blocks 4-2. Duels, U.S. won the duel battle 38-34. Although Ecuador did win the ground duel 27-25, but the U.S. won the aerial duel 13-7 in successful dribbles, 3-3 for both teams. And I would probably have to say that, as far as I'm concerned, this was probably their best performance, the U.S.'s best performance in quite a long time. They looked confident on the ball. They were exploiting space in that first half to the point where the only thing that was missing were more quality crosses. But outside of that, they were playing Balogun on the ball quite well. That didn't necessarily happen a lot in the second half, but the one time that Malik Tillman was able to get sprung free from Tanner Tessman, he was able to hit Balogun essentially at the near post, and that's essentially what got this match level. So from that standpoint, this was a pass as far as I'm concerned. This is exactly what you wanted to see, to remind fans that, yes, this team is capable of having quality performances. at an extremely high level because, again, Ecuador is the type of team that you don't fuck around with, right? Because they can burn you. And as we saw in that first half too, on the counter attack, that was a brilliant ball forward for Enter Valencia, who literally just beat Chris Richards and then put one past Matt Freeze. So this team does have the speed, the physicality to burn you, and they did tonight. But that being said, the U.S. found a way back into it. And that's something that, we haven't seen in quite some time. Generally speaking, when, the U.S. were down, they would just fold. Or they would fold and just continue to concede. But tonight, that was the reminder. Tonight was the reminder what you wanted to see, that this team, yes, can pull back. They can pull even. And they did me personally, I think they did a brilliant job tonight. If I was to give a man of the match tonight, I think I got a couple. I think there were a couple that I thought, based on work rate, that I thought played well tonight. The first, I'm going to start with Tanner Tessman tonight. I thought Tanner was beautiful. I thought he played a great game. And again, it just kind of goes to show you at the start of this match, I was circling out a few players that I thought really needed to take advantage of the opportunity given tonight. And I mentioned Tanner Tessman just because it's been a minute since he's been involved with the U.S. For whatever reason, he's been left out for quite some time. I think the last time that we saw Tanner, he just wasn't necessarily playing well. But that being said, you saw the evolution of his game when he made the jump from Serie B to Ligue 1, and it took him the entire year. But he came in ready in the 2025-2026 season, and the evolution from week to week to week, and he's added goals to his game. And now I think tonight we saw that. And the question is what's next for Tanner in the U.S. uniform? What I will say is that's, if this is going to be the formation that we are going to see moving forward, and everything suggests that it will. This is now the second straight match where Mauricio Pochettino has decided to essentially play 2 6s. In the Japan game, it was Tyler Adams and Christian Roldan. Tonight, it was Tanner Tessman and Nathan Morris, and I thought they looked well together. But you can see that Tanner kind of was that engine. And I thought he played incredibly well. The other guy that I want to shout out tonight would be Malik Tillman. I thought Malik was pretty good tonight. And again, right, provides the assist to Balogun for the equalizer. But then you just look at his work rate, and again, he's just showing off his want and his want to get involved, his ability. And that dude just seemed to be everywhere tonight. Coming back to make a deep touch, he was there, getting forward, getting into space. Malik was actually pretty good. The other one that I don't think necessarily impressed tonight was Wes. I didn't think Wes really. I don't think he did himself. I don't think he played bad. I'm not going to say that. I just didn't think that his performance tonight stood out at all, really. And again, I think it's a lot of things, right? Lack of playing time with Juventus, consistent starting time with Juventus, and also the fact that he hasn't been involved in the U.S. for quite some time. So there could be a chemistry issue, although he was actually playing high, essentially as that second 10. Not necessarily his position, but it is what it is. I would shout out Chris Richards, although he gets burned tonight for the goal. I'm glad that Tim Ream was taken off. I didn't think he did himself any justice tonight either. And of course, I also think against a team like Ecuador, a guy like Max Arfson gets lost in the crowd. So from that standpoint, yeah, I would probably have to say my man of the match has to be either Ballo or Testament tonight. One of the two, if not both. Although, let's also not forget Matt Freese. He played well tonight, man. Matt came up large, man. That goal, it is what it is, man. You're going to concede goals every once in a while. That was a brilliant shot, but it is what it is. Ace Lionel says, not the result I was looking for. Curious, Ace, what result were you looking for? Ecuador is a very good team. I didn't think they don't concede goals, right? That's the point. They are the number 2 team in Common Bowl for a reason, right? Because they only given up 5 goals through the entire qualifying process. Haven't lost since last year. I think they've won 18 in a row, or haven't lost in 18 straight matches, right? So yeah, this team is very good defensively. I didn't think that the U.S. were going to put. I didn't think they were going to put 2 past him. I thought that was going to be a big ask. So for them to get a 1-1 draw against a team like Ecuador, that's actually a very good result in my book. That's a very, 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 very good result. But, that's the thing, right? Like, I figured we'd see Christian. We did. And, of course, I think he came in for, the last 15, 20 minutes. Didn't necessarily provide anything. Not surprising. Me personally, I think that this has something to do with AC Milan, not necessarily any type of injury. I think he's on a minutes restriction. Makes a lot of sense. But one of the biggest things that we missed tonight was Anthony Robinson. Like, the only way that you're going to be able to match speed for speed is actually with a dude that knows how to handle it, that knows how to handle the physicality of a team like Ecuador, right? Considering he plays in the Premier League and he generally goes up against, he generally knows how to match up against physical. So it was kind of a letdown with Max Arfson, because you kind of figured that was how it was going to play. And of course, he's just kind of ended up getting lost. On the other side, Timmy Way, I thought Tim had some moments tonight, man. I thought he did a really good job, man. I really did. And it's a very, especially if we're going to continue to play in this type of formation, I would probably assume that Tim Weah, depending on the availability of a guy like Serginho Dest, that's going to be your backup at that right wing back position. So good result. Well, let's see. I hope we don't get grouped again. We have to treat these matches. Yeah. And I think the U.S. did tonight. I think the U.S. very much did treat it like a World Cup match tonight. And to come away with a 1-1 draw against a team that doesn't concede goals, personally, I think that was a good start to this window. Just a quick reminder that on the 14th, U.S. versus Australia, and that will close out the October window. That'll be here on Stateside Footy as far as the live stream, and hopefully, I have the new setup here for you guys, and it will actually enhance the match day experience for you guys here on YouTube. Let's see. Ace Leno said didn't like that time wasting from Tillman. Yeah. Right at the end when he was switching balls. Yeah, I understand that. But that being said, it's like, you're coming down to the final, 10 seconds. I understand. I don't like it either. If I'm being perfectly honest, I didn't like it either. But that being said, I think they just wanted to make sure that they ensured themselves the draw. Let's see. CONCACAF is greater than Common Bowl, spelling on both ends because of this game. You think CONCACAF is greater than Common Bowl because of this match? You're gonna have to explain yourself, because I actually don't think CONCACAF is better than Common Bowl at all. I think they have much better. I think that confederation is stacked with absolute killers. Their best three beats our best three 100%. So their best three is what? Argentina, Brazil. Yeah, I know you're. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. But it's funny though, right? Argentina, Brazil, and probably Colombia, right? That's probably their best three. Maybe Uruguay. Maybe Uruguay might be in there. But you keep going down, and then it's like then you have Ecuador, and you have some of these, yeah, you have Ecuador. Like you can keep going down, and it's like their top three is more like their top six, and our top three, the U.S., Canada, Mexico. It doesn't matter. Like we're not getting results against their top three at all. Yeah, I know. That's the crazy thing, right? Brazil finished fifth. Yeah, Argentina, Ecuador, yeah, were the top three in the standings. Yeah, yeah. Brazil finished fifth. But I mean, generally speaking, like if you're gonna rate it, like our top three does not get results against their top six. Yeah, Common Bowl is fucking amazing. Rate baited over 9,000. Okay, I don't know what that means. Let me know. All right, quickly, let's see. Yeah, okay, so that's the projected pots right there. Pot A, Pot 1, Mexico, United States, Canada, Spain, France, Argentina, England, Portugal, Brazil, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany. Pot 2, Croatia, Morocco, Colombia, Uruguay, Switzerland, Senegal, Japan, Denmark, Iran, Austria, South Korea, Ecuador. Pot 3, Australia, Panama, Norway, Egypt, Algeria, Paraguay, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, Costa Rica, Uzbekistan, Qatar, South Africa. Pot 4, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Jamaica, Cape Verde. The Cape Verdeans are in. Ghana, New Zealand, Turkey, Serbia, Ukraine, Cameroon, Bolivia. I don't know if did Bolivia get in? I think they did. I don't think Italy gets in, by the way. I don't see that one happen. I don't see that one happening at all. Let's see. I felt like that goal from the 35-year-old Valencia shouldn't have happened. I agree. But that being said, it was a turnover in the mid, and that was a literally off the half turn. That ball forward came quick, and Valencia cut to the inside and caught Chris Richards flat-footed, and he couldn't recover. Right. But that being said, it's like he at least Richards made an effort to close it down. But that being said, he gets the shot off. I feel like Freeze could have been in a better position to save that. But that being said, it's like all of that got negated with the U.S. goal, right? So if it ended 1-0, I probably be far more pissed off than I am. But the fact that we were able to get the equalizer and get the result, okay. Because I have to look at what the U.S. did in the entire second half. They controlled possession. They didn't really allow Ecuador to really pose a threat at all in the second half. So from that standpoint, it's like yeah, you can make a mistake, but they rectified it. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Doesn't Bolivia have to win a playoff match again? I think they do. I think they do. I think I was reading projected pots. Let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and go through some qualifiers here. As I said earlier, in CONCACAF, Suriname, Curacao, and Haiti lead all three, and El Salvador, Jamaica, and Honduras are now in the second place rankings. So as of right now, those three second place teams would go into a playoff. Let's go to all right, and in CONMEBOL, Argentina obviously led the entire group with 38 points. Ecuador finished second. Colombia finished third. Uruguay fourth. Brazil fifth. Paraguay sixth. And I believe Bolivia and Venezuela might have to play off, if I'm correct. All right, turning our attention to the UEFA qualifiers. In Group A, Germany leads it on point differential, but they are tied with Northern Ireland and Slovakia, all on 6 points. And that is quite interesting considering how far Germany has fallen to be in a qualifying battle with Northern Ireland and Slovakia. In Group B, it looks like Switzerland leads Group B over Kosovo. Denmark leads Group C on goal differential, but right there is Scotland. Congratulations to Scotland. It would be awesome to see Scotland in the World Cup. They've actually been playing really well. Group D is led by France over second place Ukraine. And it looks like Spain leads Group E over the mighty Georgians and Turkey. Both have 3 points. Group F is led by Portugal over Armenia with 3 points. And it looks like Group G is led by the Netherlands, 3 points ahead of second place Poland on 10 points, who is leading on goal differential over Finland. Austria leads Group H by 2 points over Bosnia and Herzegovina. Good for Bosnia. And Norway leads Group I with 15 points, and in second place, tied on 9 points, but leading on goal differential is Italy. I don't think Italy qualifies, and I would not be surprised if Israel potentially finds their way in the World Cup. In Group J, North Macedonia leads that group on 12 points, 1 point ahead of Belgium. That is wild. North Macedonia. Does anybody know where North Macedonia is? And of course, Wales is in third place in that group on 10 points. England leads Group K with 15 points over Albania. Group L is tied between Croatia and the Czech Republic. So there you go. Let's see. Freeman was good defensively, but took 1-2 business days to think about. Yeah, but Freeman, when Freeman came on, I actually appreciated Freeman's energy when he came on. He actually wasn't terrible. I think he actually played pretty well. Like I will give it up to Alex Freeman. He actually played pretty well. And of course, Rich is on the Suriname bandwagon. Let's see. No Venezuela out, I think. Yeah, Venezuela is out. Yeah, Bolivia got to play. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. I guess I'm still over that. I lost against Panama, who also. You're still not over the loss against Panama? Yeah, that was a while ago, though, but you got to let that go. And then, of course, yeah, Italy is worse than U.S. in soccer now. Yeah, Italy, it's sad what's happened to Italy, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's not your grandfather's Azzurri anymore. This Italy team is bad. They're playing what is now considered in vogue football for Europe, right? So it's a lot of attacking football, and they're absolutely slashed open on that back line. I think they gave up 4 to Israel. It's just absolutely shambolic, right? Like this is not, and what's wild when you look at, Italy's midfield with Tomori and the other guy, I forget. Is Repisati, who's pretty good. They're just absolutely getting carved in the midfield. And they're trying to play, They're trying to play front-footed soccer instead of just being pragmatic. And that's the biggest problem, right? That's the biggest problem in international football right now, right? Is that, at the heart of international football, it's, what are these national teams trying to do? Get to the World Cup, right? Well, okay, fine. And if you want to play flashy forward front-footed football, I guess if you have the talent to do it, right? But this isn't club football, and you can't play the international game like a club. You have to be pragmatic. That's the name of the game, right? Because you're trying to qualify. And then if you qualify, then you have 7 games until you actually lift a trophy. And when you get in, you have to be even more pragmatic, right? It's one of the things that the U.S. had always been good at. They understood. International football is something different than club. And at the very least, you have to be good defensively. You have to be rock solid. You have to be organized. You have to be compact, because there's teams that are, teams that if you slip up, they can put 4 past you. And it is what it is. Yeah, I agree with this. Soldier Boy Soccer. I agree, man. They did match Ecuador in physicality during the game. And I thought they did a good job in controlling large portions of this match as well, too. I think a lot of people assumed that Ecuador was essentially going to control possession, and flex their muscle, but the U.S. took it away, took that physicality away for large portions of the game. That's why I'm actually quite impressed with this result, if I'm being quite honest. Because this is not an easy team to score goals against, and they were able to overcome that early adversity and at least walk away with a result. So from that standpoint, I would agree. All right, I think that's going to do it for me tonight. I will be back for the U.S. versus Australia. I think tomorrow I'm going to come back and do a player rating. And of course, as soon as this window is over, we will be back with stock up and stock down. Also, we will continue the World Cup roster prediction show. This will be the volume 3.0, as we do this at the end of every single window, as we get ready to predict the 2026 World Cup roster. And of course, the stock up, stock down absolutely matters, because it gives you an idea exactly how the pecking order for certain positions are. So definitely look out for that. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, but also make sure you hit the notification bell as well too, to make sure that you guys are up to date with the content that comes out from Stateside Footy. You don't want to miss any of these live shows, man. So make sure that you like and subscribe as well too. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Rich Rod 908 baby is in the house. I want to thank Soldier Boy Soccer. I want to thank Ace Lionel. Absolutely. I also want to thank my guy, Press Football 11, also as well too. And I want to thank all those that were tuning in. You guys are awesome. So to recap, the U.S. the U.S. draw Ecuador 1-1. And next up is Australia, who unfortunately we cannot take for granted, because Australia is a scrappy little team, and they don't call them the Socceroos for nothing. So until then, I hope you guys enjoy your Friday night. I'm glad that you guys were able to tune in, and also let me know how you guys felt about this match. Leave it in the comment section, and we'll see you soon. Good night, everyone.
Rusted goalposts under fading skies, tattered flags waving dreams